Film Pulse is supported by the kind donations from listeners like you. Please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmpulse for just $1 a month and help keep the podcast on the air. Thank you so much and enjoy the show. Hello, welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 255. My name's Adam Patterson. Joining me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. How are you, Kevin?
Yeah, pretty good.
All right, good. Glad to hear it. This week on the show, we'll be talking about Trey Edward Shults' It Comes at Night, alongside someone we're watching on the watch list, new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. But first, we have some news items to discuss. I guess we'll start the show with unfortunately we had two people pass away this week. Glenn Headley, she was only 63. Fan of her work?
Yeah.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yeah.
What a role. Dick Tracy, one of my favorite movies as a child.
I need to rewatch Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I used to love that movie.
I rewatch that one every couple of years because I love it as well. I love that and The Jerk. So I'll kind of alternate between the two. So it'll be like a 2-year span. Then I'll watch 1, 2 years, the other 2, and so on and so forth.
Nice.
That's kind of how I do that.
Yeah,
that's how I do my Steve Martin,
You gotta re-up every 2 years.
Yeah. Because they're so great. And they used to play those movies so much on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
And I don't watch Comedy Central like casually anymore, so I kind of feel that itch coming in, and so I put one of those two on.
Yeah, that's one of those that whenever that came on Comedy Central, I end up watching it to the end.
That's the thing like that I miss about having just cable TV and not having the internet and Netflix and all of these streaming media services where, it'd be an afternoon, lazy afternoon, you just put that TV on and you just deal with whatever's on there. Like you just watch it. You might change the channel if it's something horrible, like really bad, but most of the time you just leave it on and then you watch like 5 hours of absolutely fabulous. Yeah, maybe you'll get lucky and it'll be Kids in the Hall.
Yeah, now you're in charge.
SNL.
You're in charge. You have the reins.
But there was something.
Well, now it's overwhelming.
Yeah,
really, sometimes.
There have been times where I sit down to watch something and I'm literally so overwhelmed between the Blu-rays and screeners and 5 different streaming services and all this stuff that I end up doing nothing. Like I end up watching nothing. I'll put on YouTube videos for like 2 hours instead.
No, I definitely hear you because it's like, let me check and see what Fandor got. See if they added anything new. Okay, let me check Mubi real quick. I want to watch something. And then it ends up being, 45 minutes later and it's like, I don't have time to watch anything anymore.
Yeah, and I've also done the thing where I will go onto a streaming service, browse through the movies, find one that I'm slightly interested in, and then end up looking up that director, and then end up turning me watching a movie into like a 3-hour research marathon where I'm just like diving down the rabbit hole of movies and I'm not watching anything, but I'm just looking at what people have done and movies that certain actors have been in and just the IMDb letterboxd rabbit hole. We had another unfortunate passing this week with Adam West. This was really terribly, terribly sad. He was 88. He had leukemia, I believe. So that is absolutely terrible. I will never forget after school watching the Batman series in syndication. Every day after school, I would come home. Actually, I would go to this woman who used to watch me after school. This was back in elementary school. This sort of a babysitter. She'd give me a little Debbie snack cake.
Nice. And
I would sit down and watch Batman. And after Batman, there'd be some, I think, cartoons. But yeah, fond memories of watching that show.
You were there for the little Debbie and Batman.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good after school routine right there.
Oh yeah.
Can't knock that one.
And I remember one time I watched the movie Men at Work. It was on TV. Damn. With Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen.
Formative years. Right there. Do you remember that woman's house? Or her name?
I do. It was Gloria.
Okay. I was wondering. All those wonderful things happen.
I don't remember her name. I mean, she basically, like, I had very little interaction with her. She picked me up from school, took me back to her house, sat me down in front of the TV, and then she went off and did her own thing. And I just watched TV for the most part. When it got nice out, sometimes I would go outside and, like, climb trees and stuff. But by and large, it was me in front of that TV watching it.
Yeah, her house was a holding cell, essentially, for you.
Yeah, it was. Pretty much. The Black Panther teaser trailer came out. Did you get a look at this?
I did.
And?
When's this come out?
Put me on the spot.
February 16th, 2018.
Yeah.
Can't wait that long.
So you can't wait that long?
I can't.
So you're pretty excited for it?
This looks fucking awesome.
Did you like the Run the Jewels?
I did.
I love what they did with how they incorporated the title, the logo coming up at the end of the teaser with the song, and it was just like it just got me so much more pumped up for it at the end.
I loved through the course of just seeing the cast.
I know.
Like,
holy crap, that cast.
What?
Killer.
What? This movie looks awesome.
Yeah. Killer cast. This is going to be the first Marvel movie that has a female cinematographer.
Oh yeah?
Yep. So that's going to be it's going to be nice. Can't wait. We didn't get to see a whole lot in this teaser, but it was more than enough for me to be completely on board with this. Cuz he was a badass. You didn't see Civil War, but he was in Civil War and he was awesome in Civil War. And the cool thing was they didn't like waste time by doing a whole origin thing or anything like that. Like in Civil War, he was just Black Panther. Like he was already an established person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very cool.
I love the fact that the woman that's doing the Black Panther, she was also the cinematographer to Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So wonderful. Hopefully the visuals be all kinds of crazy.
It looked like it's going to be fantastic.
Well, especially that beginning scene when he's like, well, there's all the people on the side of the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's going to be, the most exciting thing for me with Black Panther is that hopefully it'll be colorful. It'd be nice to get some fucking color in these superhero movies.
Agreed.
Make them lavish. Just color everywhere. Come on. Let's do it.
Color splash.
Yeah, let's get it.
Last news story I want to talk about. Netflix's Okja shut out of hundreds of screens in South Korea. This is a story that won't die. I'll never stop talking about this as long as it's still a thing. 93% of the theaters in South Korea have stated that they will not be showing this movie in theaters.
Okay.
Because of the Netflix thing.
All right.
Why
though?
This is a conversation we've had numerous times before, but anytime something like this comes up, I'm still going to mention it because it's utterly ridiculous and it needs to be continued there needs to be a continuing conversation about it because this is out of control. Like if the theater, this is a really anticipated movie. This director, Bong Joon-ho, he's a big time director in South Korea. Like he's like, I don't know an accurate comparison. Like I don't know for a fact that he's like the Steven Spielberg of South Korea or anything like that, but I do know that he is very popular, very successful over there. So for theater owners or theater chains rather to be shooting themselves in the foot over this, it just makes no sense to me.
Well, I get to see it. I still get to see it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
As do I. So I probably get to see it in the theater too. So we'll see. The interesting thing about this article that came out in Variety that talks about it says here. So as we spoke about, I don't know if that was last week or the week before, this premiered at Cannes. There was a huge outrage from theater owners in France over the fact that it's going to be releasing on Netflix. So it wasn't due for a theatrical release in France. So the response from Cannes was that the festival itself changed its rules and is requiring that all competition titles must be destined for French release from now on. So from now on, it had the movies that screen in competition at Cannes have to be slated for theatrical release there.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I think that's stupid. I don't think there should be any kind of like if I make a movie and I'm a new director, I'm really trying to get my movie out there. Netflix sees my script or whatever it is and says, "Hey, we're gonna help you produce this movie. We're gonna give you a little bit of money if you put it out on our platform."
So what about the films that don't have distribution yet, that are waiting to get picked up at the film festival? Like, you can't ensure that they're gonna have
That's true.
theatrical release. I thought that was like one of the main points of film festivals.
Exactly. I have no idea. I don't
know.
And these are competition titles too. So typically the competition titles are, the newer ones, new directors, new ideas, things like that. These aren't like studio films. These aren't.
Man, Can't just got some stupid ass rules. Seems like that's their number one rule, is that they just got to come up with stupid ass rules. It's a dumbass film festival.
Yeah, it says here a significant difference is that the French holdback of 3 years between theatrical and VOD releases is mandated by law, whereas the South Korean wait of 3 weeks is contractual. So there's a law that says that there has to be a disparity of 3 years before a movie can end up on VOD.
All right.
Man, that's baffling. I don't understand that. I mean, just get your movie out. I mean, it's a movie, for Christ's sake. Like what? Like why would you need to? Anyway, I'm tired of talking about this, but you better believe if something else comes out this week that's in the same topic, well, I'm gonna be talking about it because this is gonna be an ongoing discussion. All right. Speaking of movies and theaters, this is I think this might be a Film Pulse first here. Where you've gone to the movies 2 weeks in a row.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty excited about this.
This is cause for celebration, I think. Now,
yeah, I wasn't planning on it because I actually just assumed that it probably wasn't going to come. And then I was driving past the theater and boom, pops up on the sign. And I'm like, oh shit, they got It Comes at Night. All right. And then plans were made right there on the spot. And then
that's incredible.
Plans were fulfilled today. So here we are.
Plans were fulfilled. Now, before we get into this, any interesting or notable theater experiences?
It was just me and my wife and 2 elderly women. That's it.
Well, I have a slightly interesting experience. Probably not an uncommon experience with a lot of people that saw this in the theater, but I'll get to that when we talk about the movie.
Anything involving fidget spinners again?
No fidget spinners this time. Thank God. This movie would really piss me off if there was some fidget spinner action popping up when I'm trying to concentrate on this thing. All right. So It Comes at Night. This is directed by Trey Edward Shults. It's also written by him. Stars Joel Edgerton, Christopher Abbott, Carmen Ejogo, Riley Keough. I have a synopsis here. Secure within a desolate home as an unnatural threat terrorizes the world, a man has established a tenuous domestic order with his wife and son, but this will soon be put to the test when a desperate young family arrives seeking refuge. Now, this is billed as a horror movie. A lot of people are talking about how this movie was mismarketed, like it wasn't marketed properly. I would argue that it was marketed perfectly.
Okay.
Because it is billed as a horror movie, and it is not a horror movie in the traditional sense, the sense that the trailer gives you.
Okay.
This is very much, to me at least, it was very much kind of a thriller, a suspense thriller more than anything. And then maybe I would even call it a family drama.
You got some horror elements in there though. Can't completely discount those. I mean, they're kind of cheap, but the dream
Sure, I
premonition
mean
things or
there are
whatever.
horror elements, but I would still probably consider this to be a thriller. I think that
Yeah, I think it's more
the
so a thriller.
I
I would
think
agree.
the ideas behind it are horror, meaning that fear of the unknown. So it plays with the themes of horror and what tends to scare us and make us paranoid. But I feel like the movie itself is more of a thriller. I'll say that I didn't come out of it loving it as much as most critics, but
Yeah.
I did enjoy myself. I thought that it was one that the longer I sat with it, the more I was like, oh man, because I was thinking back to some of these interactions between the characters, especially between like Joel Edgerton and Christopher Abbott, and just that the way that those characters had a dialogue with each other and the insane amount of tension and suspense that was conveyed even in scenes where nothing was going on, where you're just like, why am I on edge right now? Why am I so tense? Why am I sweating right now? And it was like there's no reason for you to be, but you were putting all these things together in your mind about what could happen. And I think that that's where the movie is successful, in that it gets your mind racing about what could be happening or what's going to happen. And I think that that's what makes this movie so successful.
Hmm. Maybe I need to sit with it longer. Maybe I'll come around. I thought it was. I mean, this is another one of those films where it's kind of like, there's two sides to it, right? Number one, to me, there's no denying that I think it's solid filmmaking, and then the other half of it is it's just it's kind of a nothing of a film to me.
Mm-hmm.
Seems kind of cheap and lazy and just really unoriginal.
Well, the unoriginality of this movie, the fact that when I came out of it, I was like, I saw at least two other movies that I can think of right now that have this almost exact same plot. There's Here Alone that came out, I think, last year. It was about a woman living in an isolated, wooded area during an outbreak, and a father and son come to live with her and kind of upend her life. Then there's The Survivalist, which came out just a few weeks ago, which is about two brothers living in the woods after, an apocalyptic event, and then a two women come to happen upon their cabin, and the same thing happens. So it's like, yes, I completely, I'm completely on board with the unoriginality of this movie. Is that we've seen this exact plot several times before.
Yeah.
I think that the execution of it is done slightly better in this one than some of those, but I think like The Survivalist probably does, as a whole, does the concept better.
All right. I'm still pretty interested in seeing that movie. I might have to check that out then.
Yeah, I mean it's very similar. It's a very similar kind of narrative, but I think that the themes are very different.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, just from right off the bat with the son having the nightmares or whatever. Just like I kind of said, it felt a little cheap because it was just essentially like, okay, we don't really have anything horror in this movie,
Anything
but this,
tangible.
yeah, but this allows, like, as soon as he falls asleep, it's like, okay, open playground, we can do whatever we want because it's a dream, so we can just have that, and we don't really need to tie it into anything. We can just go for, purely just, you know, essentially just try to elicit reactions.
Well,
But
I
yeah,
think
they're, you know what I mean? Like, they kind of exist on their own outside of the actual film because they don't really, to me, they didn't really tie into anything.
I think that what the dreams were meant to do was to manipulate the audience as the characters themselves were being manipulated by their own fear. Like this he was having these dreams, these constant dreams about this possibility of infection, when we as an audience were also wondering when is the shoe going to drop here? When is this going to happen? Because we feel like this is foreshadowing for
Yeah.
something. Like every time he has one of these horrific dreams, it's like, okay, something's going to happen here. We're building to something, and that kind of dread is building within us as well as the characters are becoming more paranoid and kind of more unhinged as they
Yeah.
go along too. So I think that the whole movie is kind of a play on our fears and like fear of the unknown.
I think to a certain extent I agree with that, but at the same time I think you're essentially just waiting for the inevitable to happen because it kind of, it kind of paints itself into a corner right from the outset, but between Paul and Will and them bringing the other family into their house, you essentially know, like, as soon as they show up, you're like, well, this isn't going to end well.
No,
And
of course not. And if you saw the trailer, then you would know that
and
definitely something bad happens.
yeah, and you're holed up with guns, and you don't know each other. I mean, right off the bat, Paul doesn't trust anyone. So you're just like, okay, at some point, you guys are going to be pointing guns at each other. When's that going to happen? And then it finally happens. And yes, it's tense. I will give you that. It is very tense. But at the same time, when is people holding guns to each other not that tense? I mean, you would have to be extremely incompetent to really fuck that sequence up.
Well,
But
for me, it wasn't like those were the obvious scenes of tension. But for me, what was effective was the less obvious scenes, like the dog barking outside at seemingly nothing in the woods, and just how everything felt like it was a build up. The car ride when they were driving, and they were getting shot at and stuff. Like everything just felt so weighty to me. Even just basic conversations they were having at the dinner table felt like something is going to happen here, even when it seemed like everything was okay.
yeah, I mean,
Now,
that just
now that being
to me it
said,
just comes back to like I kind of said, what we have. I mean, how many movies do we have of fear of the unknown and paranoia and suspicion and that type of thing? And just, I mean, for me, number one, not original. Number two, it feels like you could have done so much more here. Now, again, the filmmaking is it's solid filmmaking. I'll give them that. I mean, the use of natural light and everything, I thought was fantastic. The way he shot a lot of this, but for what he's actually shooting, I don't. Eh,
yeah, no, I completely agree with
eh.
you. I think that there was a lack of substance here, and I think that one thing that may have helped, and I hate doing this where I like say what I think would have worked better. Like, this is what you should have done. Like, obviously this guy knows how to make a better movie than I could, but I think that what I probably would have liked to see is more development between the two sets of characters, and maybe a deeper conflict there between Joel Edgerton's family and Christopher Abbott's family. Maybe have us spend a little bit more time with them, and so that way when the inevitable does happen, it feels more like there is more weight to it, because the
Yeah.
way that it is, it's like, oh, these people they stay there for like a day, before they leave, and then the shit hits the fan. So it's like, maybe spend some more time, maybe have something else happen that brings the two of those characters together more into more of a friendship, and then have the big, whatever happen, so that way it packs a bigger emotional punch. But also, like, I felt like there just wasn't, I don't know, there wasn't much of a resolution to it either.
No, and it also seemed like he planned up until the big culminating scene, where they kind of collide. And he thought,
Yeah,
he kind of planned up until then, and then after that kind of happened, it felt really, really messy after that. Where it's just
everything
like, I don't know really what to do after that. Like, I kind of want to end it there, but I'm gonna keep going for some reason.
yeah, everything starts to move very fast after that, and it
Yeah,
it,
because I'm
it
just like,
ends very abruptly after that as
yeah,
well.
because I was just like, what the fuck is this? What are we doing now?
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people were very disappointed with, like, when in my theater there was a very loud woman in the back of the theater who, anytime there was one of the jump scares or anything, she would just lose her mind. I mean, she was hamming it up, boy. She was hamming it up. She was so ready to be in this scary movie. Like, she was forcing it. Like, this was clearly forced.
It's performative.
So when the movie ends, she's just like, no, are you kidding me? That's some bullshit. No. And she was livid. She was so angry.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me like the movie more.
Despite her?
Yeah. Like, you know what? I'm glad that happened.
Well, fuck you. I like this movie now.
I'm glad it ended that way.
I mean, I'm okay with it ending, and the kind of that things are kind of up in the air. But it to me, it just felt messy after that point, where it didn't have like a clear idea what it was trying to convey or what it was trying to do.
Yeah, I like the final shot a lot. But yeah, I agree with you on that. Performance-wise, I thought everybody was pretty great. I mean, the Joel Edgerton is the standout, but I thought Christopher Abbott did a really good job too. I mean, these are very minimal roles for these people, but I think Joel Edgerton kind of shines when he has a minimal role.
They don't give him much opportunity to fuck it up. That's what you're saying.
No, I think he's a great actor no matter what, but when I say minimal role, I mean somebody who is a man of few words but has a lot of emotion. Like, you look at Midnight Special, he doesn't necessarily have giant monologues, but you always know what the man is feeling.
It seems like he's getting... Yeah, because now that you mention that, it seems like that's most of his roles now.
Yeah, you better be careful. He'll start getting typecast.
He's getting settled in there. He's getting settled in.
It's going to start taking, like, Michael Shannon's roles.
Oh, my God. They're going to start beefing. Calling it now.
Black Phillip was in this. Did you?
Yeah, I don't give two fucks about Black Phillip. Shut the fuck up about that.
As soon as I saw that, like, on my news feed, I was like, "Oh man, I bet Kevin is just so angry at that. He probably hates this movie even more now that he knows Black Phillip's in it."
This fucking goat. It's better than The Witch. I'll give you that. This movie's better than.
I actually disagree with that. I think The Witch was better than this.
But... Yeah, I don't know. I do kind of feel that they're similar.
They are very similar. They're very understated art house.
Maybe The Witch is better. You think it was the goat? You think it was Black Phillip?
If it was actually Black Phillip, like the character Black Phillip?
Yeah, he was doing everything. That's what the dog was barking at.
Well, if you think about it, after the goat came,
everything went to shit.
We know what happened, so there's a very real possibility.
It's the goats.
I don't know what people were expecting out of this movie. Like, were they thinking that it was a zombie movie, or
I don't know.
I'm not sure what the expectation was. I guess maybe people were thinking that it was going to be more kind of high octane horror.
See, I mean, for me, I essentially I didn't really know anything about this at all, except for he directed Krisha, and I think my wife pointed out that there was some sort of virus or something, and that's all I knew. So there was a part of me that was happy that it didn't turn into like a full, pandemic virus type film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's still, when Will shows up, I'm like, well, this is probably only going to go one way, and then it goes that way.
Yeah. Yep. I'm honestly surprised that this currently has an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's high.
It does seem very high to me. I'm not really. I don't really know why it's so high. I mean, according to this, like the average rating is 7.3 out of 10. So when you look at that, you're like, okay, that I can get that.
Yeah.
When you see a score of 86%, you instantly think like this movie is going to be amazing. But then you look below and it's like, okay, critics are saying 7.3 out of 10. 7 out of 10 is, I think, a reasonable score to give this.
Yeah, I could say, I could see that.
And with that, let's go ahead and give it our scores. Kevin, what are you going to give if it comes in?
Watch out. Oh man, what am I gonna give It Comes at Night? Uh, uh, 5.5.
Okay, that's a 5.5. I'm gonna go ahead and throw out I'm at like a 6.57 on this. I'm like somewhere in between there.
Uh,
6.57.
Now, how much of that is because of the woman?
None. I she not enough to give it any kind of point bump there.
I was hoping that it was one of those instances where the credits started rolling. You're like, this is a 6, and then as soon as you heard her outburst, you're like 7. Fuck you, it's 7.
No, I did almost nod off a couple times in this though. I will admit that. I don't think it was the movie per se. It was just I don't know. I guess I was just tired. I held on. I didn't actually lose consciousness, but there were a couple head dips that happened here. Dip in the old head.
The old dip of the head.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't know if I'll by the end of the year. I don't know if I'll remember this movie too much. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know if it's gonna stick with me.
I like that lighting though.
Oh yeah,
Lighting's
yeah. I mean, visuals I thought were on point. Sound was on point as well. There were a couple cheap jump scares in there. You know, the loud sounds. They eliminate the music, and then you have extended silence, and then the loud sound. They did a couple of those, which I could have done without. I felt like the tension was building naturally enough that you didn't have to include those things.
Yeah,
But still, I would still say it's worth a look. Don't know if you necessarily have to see this in the theater, honestly, but I'd say it's better than The Mummy from what I'm seeing.
Did you see The Mummy?
I didn't see it. But
then how the fuck do you know?
Well,
Huh?
according to my Twitter feed and the reviews on this one,
It's at 17%.
Yeah.
I saw that.
this one's a bomb.
I guess that might not be too far of a stretch to say that It Comes at Night is better than The Mummy.
Yeah, I think I think it's bombing at the box office too. Actually,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and another thing that it comes down for me, is if I never saw It Comes at Night, would I really missed that much?
right. And when and it's like if I never would have seen It Comes at Night, I feel like I still saw It Comes at Night because there are again multiple movies that are very eerily similar to this one.
Well, hell, I mean, at one point, he's like, "Well, we're gonna go, get the family and bring them back." It's like, I know this movie. I know how you're gonna end up. Like like at that point, it felt like I've seen this. Because again, you kind of write yourself into a corner where it's like, unless you're gonna, commit yourself to going batshit insane, there's one really, outcome here.
I was hoping that that's where it was going to go.
I had fingers crossed toward the end.
I really thought that it was going to go nuts.
Just please go nuts. Just go crazy. And then the credits rolled, and I was like, you missed your chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucker.
All right. So that's It Comes at Night. That's playing in theaters everywhere right now. Let's move on and talk about someone we're watching on the watch list. Kevin, I think we'll start with you this week.
Me? I'm not ready.
Okay.
No, I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go. All right. I covered that Funeral Parade of Roses.
Oh, yeah.
It got a new restoration.
New 4K re-release.
Get that 4K re-release. I've been wanting to see this sucker for a long time. It was, for the longest time, it's only been available UK from the Masters of Cinema series of DVDs, right? And there's so many times that I almost imported this. And then finally, someone stateside stepped their game up, Cinelicious Picks. Thank goodness. Because, I kind of knew going into this that from what I've heard, because the number one thing I've noticed with this movie is I don't think I've ever seen anyone dislike it. I think pretty much every, thing I've ever seen pop up on Letterboxd or Twitter or whatever has been, praise. So going into this one, I figured it's going to be good. I don't think I'm going to be let down. Might not be a masterpiece, but it's going to be good at least. And holy shit, this movie is great. this is like high level incredible. He does, I mean, it's just nonstop the type of things that he tries out in here. It's a debut too, which I didn't realize until I was kind of, looking it up after watching it, which, even bumped it up a little bit more. Because as you're watching it, if you told me that this was a debut, I'd have been like, no, it can't be. But at the same time, it kind of makes sense because he's essentially, it's just like he doesn't know what he's doing, but he has a shit ton of talent and he's just trying everything, and he just doesn't really, he's not really playing by any sort of rules. And I mean, it's all over the place. It's messy as hell, but oh my god, that's why it makes it so great.
And from what
Like
I
he
understand, this is a movie that was pretty ahead of its time. It came out in 1969, but it's dealing with a lot of like issues of gender and stuff like that, right? Isn't it about drag
Yeah,
queens or
it's well, and I'm not 100% sure because all the times that you see them, they're they're women. So I'm thinking, okay, they're transvestites. In the movie, I guess their label at that time was gay boys.
gay boys? Because this
Gay
says in
boys.
the synopsis on Letterboxd, it says cross-dressing club kid Eddie vies with a rival drag queen for the favors of drug-dealing cabaret manager Gonda.
Okay. But see, to me, like drag queens is more of like a performative thing, right? Where you kind of like, like Divine or something where you kind of dress up for the night and you do your performance and everything. Like the people here,
They're permanently women.
when they're at home, they're dressed up.
Okay, so maybe
You know,
maybe they're transgender then.
yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, the one of the things that really caught me off guard is like he'll constantly like interrupt. He'll just like pull out and he'll just start interviewing the people. Like the first sex scene that happens, they just pull out and you see everyone filming it and they just cut
Oh yeah, I
and
saw
then
that in
they
the like trailer for it. Yeah.
yeah, and they just starts talking to the actors and stuff, and it's like, what do you think of the sex scene, and what do you think of this? And they, ask them about being gay boys and stuff, and it's really, really interesting. And there's he pulls out and pauses to talk to the guy that's playing Eddie, and in in with the questions that he's asking and stuff, he spoils the movie. Like he tells you, like essentially, he tells you what the ending is.
That sucks.
And like, well, it's funny because like at the time I didn't think anything of it until I got to the end.
Mm.
Then I was like, oh yeah, he told me about that like 20 minutes ago. And then it just pauses and there's just some random dude that he essentially just gives a review of the film and then it goes back to the film.
Hmm.
Like there's all sorts of stuff going on here, and it's bloody. I never really thought that it would get like violent and bloody, and it does. And that kind of came out of nowhere. It was quite effective, pretty shocking.
Cool. That is playing now in New York. It is again, the title is Funeral Parade of Roses. So it's playing now in New York. I think that it's coming out later this month, like next week. I think it's coming out in L.A. and then they're doing a bigger rollout shortly thereafter. They haven't said exactly if what other theaters it's going to or if it's going to get. It'll definitely get a Blu-ray release. Cinelicious has been really good about releasing their remasters, the movies that they remaster on Blu-ray. I did a while ago. I did Private Property.
Mm-hmm.
It was Cinelicious to put that out, and it was a phenomenal release. So I'm sure that they're going to do this one.
Yeah,
do this one right as well. I saw Dreamscape from 1984.
Dreamscape.
Dreamscape.
This sounds interesting.
This is starring Dennis Quaid as a psychic
Yes.
who gets hired by a government agency to go into people's dreams in order to find out information and to help them through various psychological problems they're having.
Are you serious?
This is a real movie. It stars Max von Sydow, Christopher Plummer, also Kate Capshaw's in it, George Wendt's in it. This movie is it's so ridiculous. I had a pretty good time with this one. David Patrick Kelly's in it too. He plays kind of the bad guy, one of the bad guys.
Yeah.
Effects work in this movie is absolute garbage. They They use green screen, and it must be
Mm-hmm.
pretty early green screen technology because it looks absolutely atrocious. Anytime they go into the dream world,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still hilarious. There's this one fantastic scene where, because see, David Patrick Kelly's character is also he's also a psychic, and he can also enter people's dreams,
Mm-hmm.
and but he's a bad guy, so he he gets hired to kill the president by entering the president's dreams. So he goes into the president's dreams, and Dennis Quaid goes into the president's dreams as well to save him. And David Patrick Kelly, since they're in the dream world, they can just do whatever. So he
Mm-hmm.
makes nunchucks naturally. You're in a dream. You can do whatever you want. You make nunchucks to fight with.
Hell yeah.
So anyway, he makes nunchucks and he fights Dennis Quaid in the president's dreams with nunchucks, and it's so ridiculous and incredible.
This sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I mean it's a bad movie. Don't get me wrong. It's pretty bad, but it's the fun kind of bad for sure.
Yeah. You at least have a good time with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Again,
just that you sold the hell out of it. Just
I tried.
two guys are in the president's dream world. One guy creates nunchucks.
Mm-hmm. And then at one point he makes his fingernails grow really long, like Freddy Krueger. It's basically like a Nightmare
Yeah.
on Elm Street ripoff at that point.
Uh-huh.
It's good stuff though. I would recommend it. Like one of the first dreams that he goes into is this kid who's having these horrible nightmares. He's like night terrors, and he goes into this kid's dream, and this kid has this recurring dream where he's being attacked by a giant snake, and Dennis Quaid helps the kid kill the snake, cut its head off. Giant cobra snake.
Dreamscape sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's Dreamscape from 1984. Check it out.
Damn. I watched AP and AK for the latest edition of Unsung Indies. It's been a little bit. So this is Ahmed Khwaja and Andre Puka, which I did, like maybe 4 or 5 ago, was their first film together, Kawak or Cassandra with a K. This is essentially like a sequel of sorts, like another chapter in the saga. Where with the first film, it was Ahmed essentially trying to make this movie about this girl that he was in love with, and he's kind of having trouble with it. He ended up becoming friends with Andre, and he kind of came in to like help him make this film, and then it changed from there, and it more so became a film about like their friendship and them trying to make this movie and everything. So this is kind of like the natural extension of that, where it's another documentation of their friendship, but it's also like in the beginning, Ahmed is like interviewing Andre about like how they came to meet each other and how they ended up becoming friends and roommates, and about making the first film. And so they're talking about, they're essentially like exploring like the past of their friendship while documenting it in the current state. And it's all just really interesting to watch unfold. But it's also, I mean, a thing for the the movies that these guys do is that they're really watchable. They're just they're fun to watch. And it's fun to watch these two just documenting them making a movie. But yet this time around they're not really, it doesn't seem like they have like an end goal, like a movie that they're trying to make. It's just essentially like, they're just like home video style, just recording everything. And then it seems like they just took all the footage at the end and just created something out of it. So it's almost like it's a film, but it's not a film. It's really interesting to watch.
Okay. I noticed this isn't even on IMDb. What's up with that?
No, no, this is not. This is like, I think it's tough because Ahmed he seems to recut his films constantly. Like when I watched Kawak and covered it, I got a response from him immediately saying, "I'm almost done with the latest cut." And I was like, "Well, how many cuts exist of this film?" And he's like, 7.
Hmm.
So he's like there. It seems like that's another interesting aspect to this, where it's like I don't know what version I saw. Like I don't know if I saw the first one or like the third iteration of it or like the fifth iteration, or if you go to try and watch this movie the next time, it might be cut differently. I don't know, because he just has it up on their Vimeo page.
Okay.
So it seems like they're never done with them.
All right. So it is available for free. Is that right?
Yeah, it's completely free. I
Oh.
have a review up for the Unsung Indies. At the bottom of that review is just the embed from the Vimeo
Oh, okay.
from
Yeah.
his
So check it
Vimeo
out.
page. So
Go check out Kevin's write up on it, and you can check out the movie afterwards if it sounds interesting. I know it sounds interesting to me. I want to see it.
well, then you should see it. You should do that.
Well, I think I will.
I would watch Quack first.
Yeah, that's one
I
I've
mean,
been meaning to see for a while now.
he might even have another cut of that one by now.
I saw Evil Ed from 1997. This is the one that I was saying I wanted to check out that came out on Arrow Blu-ray a couple weeks ago. I actually didn't get the Blu-ray. I watched this on Amazon. Amazon has it on, if you are a Prime member, they have it as part of their Prime Video, whatever, streaming stuff. So I watched it on there. And I got to say, I'm hoping that the Arrow release fixed this movie, because whatever version they have on Amazon is absolute garbage. Like, I think it was a VHS transfer, or maybe it was like some kind of bad DVD transfer. It, like, at the beginning of the movie, there's like artifacting. There's like this weird digital artifacting that's taking place. So it must have been some kind of like poor transfer done on the DVD or something. But that, to me, that was like unacceptable. I was like, okay, well, this is bad. The quality of the video itself is just awful. I think that this was shot on video, but I'm not sure. Not shot on video. Sorry, it was shot on digital. I think maybe early digital. The aspect ratio, it's like a 4:3, and it just looks so bad. Anyway, that aside, the movie's about this editor who, basically, it's Berberian Sound Studio, if you remember that movie. Except it's an editor. So it's about an editor who gets the task of piecing together this horror film series. And basically his job is it's an American horror film series, and it's his job to sort of cut it down for the European censors. And in doing so, the level of violence in the movies that he's working on drives him crazy, and he starts killing people. There's a lot of some of the gore effects and makeup effects are decent, but that's really all I can say positively about this movie. It's garbage. It's complete garbage.
I like the poster that's on Letterboxd.
I know, it's fantastic.
I love that. Number one, it's a hatchet splitting him in half, and that the inside of his skull is just
It's
juice.
just liquid. It's just straight liquid.
Like, he has no skull, no brain, nothing. It's just all liquid. And I also love the look on his face, where he doesn't seem that like terrified. He's just kind of like, oh no.
It's such a clean cut too. Like
that's one sharp ass hatchet. Get that juice.
Yeah, I actually can't recommend this movie. It's really bad. It's basically just an Evil Dead ripoff, done very poorly. It's not funny at all. It's supposed to be a horror comedy. Like, there's a lot of comedy in it, a lot of slapstick type stuff, but none of it lands. Like, it's all so juvenile and stupid.
Mm-hmm. But is there juice heads though?
Not really. I mean, there's a fair amount of heads being lopped off and whatnot. I don't even recall a hatchet splitting a head down the middle in this.
Yeah, because I mean it's kind of bullshit. You have a poster that's advertising a head getting split open with juice inside, and then to not have that in the actual film.
Yeah. Also, I believe this is I think this is like a Swedish film or something, maybe, that was like dubbed in English. It was like one of those deals where all the actors are like Swedish actors, but they did their lines in English and then they just overdubbed them with voice
Okay.
actors. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's just, ugh.
Okay.
There's some kind of silly monster effects and like some puppet work. Because like I feel like for some reason in the 90s, like the mid 90s, every horror movie had to have some sort of like creature, like monster in it. So there were some really goofy ones that sort of reminded me of like House 2 or something in this like sort of poorly done, but at the same time kind of fun.
Yeah.
At any rate, I can't recommend Evil Ed.
That's unfortunate. I was hoping it was going to be another fantastic sounding one like
I
Dreamscape.
know. I was excited to see it. This is a movie that I've been meaning to watch for a long time.
That's always a bummer when those let you down. It's ones that you've been waiting. And I kind of, in that same vein, segue, look at me. Um, I saw Hello Destroyer. This is a Canadian film by Kevin Funk, which heard a lot of good things. Been wanting to see this for quite some time. Maybe not as long as you've been wanting to see Evil Ed. Uh, and it starts off, it's a solid film, and but up until a point, like I was so jazzed up because the visuals are great, the performances are great, and I found the narrative actually, it's something different. It's about it's a young hockey player who, he's got a lot of energy. He's trying to make it on a team. He's a rookie, so he's giving it his all. And of course, there's this whole culture of like being really tough, and he's kind of like an enforcer. A defenseman going around slamming people into the boards and getting into fights and that type of thing. So everyone's like really, and because he's kind of amped up and doing a great job of it, everyone's really supportive and patting him on the back, and so everything's going great. And then unfortunately, he slams someone in the boards one game, gets thrown out. He's not really sure what's going on. He does kind of notice that the kid's not really moving, and then ends up that he inadvertently killed this kid. Just unfortunate. Slammed him into the board. Whatever. So from then on, it's really about him trying to cope with this and trying to move forward, and just essentially being lost, really, which immediately afterwards it works. It's really subtle. It has a slow pace to it. It's really contemplative, at least it seems like it is. But then you start to notice that this subtlety is not really subtlety. It's just kind of empty, and we're not really doing anything after a while except reiterating the same point, which is that he's kind of lost. He doesn't know what to do, and it just goes on and on and on like that. And then it even kind of gets a little confusing in the sense that there's some of these scenes where him, like driving home in his truck, and he pulls off to the side of the road and he gets out and he just kind of looks into the distance, and then it just kind of lingers, and then it cuts to another scene, and it's just like, okay, like, did I need that? Like, you've kind of set up what his mindset, like what he's dealing with, what his mind state is. Like, I kind of get it. That just seemed kind of pointless to me. So it kind of does that, and it just, unfortunately, it just kind of undermines itself and becomes kind of grows stale. So
Okay.
it's another one of those that's like down the middle.
All right,
Because there's some solid filmmaking in the beginning there, but
all right, and that's Hello Destroyer. I saw Shimmer Lake. This is out now on Netflix. Netflix original movie. This is kind of an interesting one. It's directed by Oren Uziel. I think this is a feature debut for him. So it's kind of a murder mystery slash heist movie, but it's kind of done in an interesting way. It's presented in a reverse order, so it goes day by day. So the movie starts Friday and then shows you what happens on Friday, and then it goes to Thursday, Wednesday, etc. It stars Rainn Wilson and Rob Corddry and Adam Pally and Ron Livingston and Wyatt Russell. So those are almost all comedic actors. This is not a comedy. That was kind of the first strange thing about this movie, is that I'm not exactly sure what this was supposed to be, because it's not really funny. There's some slight bits of comedy. The main character is completely deadpan. Like, this guy, he doesn't even I'm not sure he even has a personality. Like, he's just completely flat, this guy. Played by Benjamin Walker. He was the guy who was Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. That guy.
Okay.
So he's just completely flat in this, and the other characters are more animated, but I wasn't sure what they were going for tonally in this movie. At first, I was almost hating it. I thought that the reverse order thing was sort of a gimmick, and I just I wasn't into it at all. I thought that the crime itself was very predictable. Like, I thought I knew exactly what was going on with it and where it was going and blah blah blah. But then something interesting happened. I actually lost my internet connection with only about 15 minutes remaining on the movie, and I was like, well, I don't even know if I'm going to finish this. But when it came back up, I did finish it, and that's when kind of the twist occurs. And I was like, okay, I see. Because at first I was like, why, other than a gimmick, why are they even doing it in reverse order? But after the big kind of twist happens, then it all makes sense, and you can kind of put it all, you understand why they did it that way, because it is still sort of a gimmick, but the fact that the reveal, the big twist, is actually at the beginning of the story and not the end, that's why they did it in reverse order. And I thought that was kind of cool.
Okay.
Overall, I'd still say it's just another Netflix movie at this point. When you watch it, you're just like, yep, this fits right in. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't understand how they can somehow find these movies at festivals that all feel the exact same. Like, I really don't understand it. Because I was trying to think about these types of movies before they were on Netflix. And if I would be able to somehow lump them all together, then I don't know if I would be able to.
That would be like whoever it is that's in charge of picking these films up, they know exactly what they want, and they can identify it immediately. Because you're right, they all feel the same.
They all kind of have the same look to them. They all take
They have kind of the same feel. They all kind of have like the same pace to them.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. It's really confusing.
Yep. This is another one to add to the list. It's not bad, it's not great. It's just meh. And the whole title is a little misleading because almost nothing takes place on Shimmer Lake at all.
Oh.
Yeah. Very little of it is actually on Shimmer Lake. Almost nothing, really.
Lies.
Yeah.
A lot of movies lying today.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're learning.
Well, that's the world we live in now, Kevin.
Just lies.
Anything else on your list?
Nope, that's it.
All right. I'll quickly mention War on Everyone. This is the new John Michael McDonough movie. It's on Netflix now. Also, found out that this came out on VOD like back in February or something, and it's just now ending up on Netflix. Not really sure how I missed it, but needless to say, I did. This is from the director of Cavalry, which I was a huge fan of, and The Guard, which I was also a big fan of. So I was pretty excited for this one. The trailer wasn't really doing it for me, but I figured, I'll give it a look regardless. I'm still excited just because it is John Michael McDonough. This stars Michael Pena and Alexander Skarsgård as corrupt cops. They're bad detectives. And it basically follows all the same trappings that you would expect from one of these types of movies, like a Bad Lieutenant, or what was that one with Woody Harrelson? I think it was called Rampart. Mm-hmm. The corrupt cop film. Or what was the one, Filth? That was the other one that's this sort of resembles, where they're basically just bad cops, but they do it in a very comedic way. This is a dark comedy, so it's got a lot of they're trying to offend you. They're deliberately being politically incorrect in this movie, and they're trying to push your buttons. They're doing like racial slurs, and they're just these guys. They're out of control cops.
Man, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, but I actually thought that there were a few parts that made me laugh quite a bit. A lot of the jokes certainly didn't land for me, but there were a few moments that I thought were funny. I liked Michael Pena's character in particular. I thought Alexander Skarsgård was really weird. He had this kind of like, his posture was like really strange in this, and the way he kind of like lurked. He was like lurking. That's what I would call him.
Everybody likes a lurker.
It's just he was a little weird in this movie. His character was kind of odd, but Caleb Landry Jones is in this as well, and he plays the exact character that you would expect Caleb Landry Jones to play.
Yeah.
Meaning a strung out creep.
You now, and again, this is another one of those things where I always wonder if do they have another character in mind, and he's just only able to
I don't know
to channel that, and they're just like, oh fuck, that's all we're getting, I guess.
I think we spoke about this when we did our Get Out review. I don't know if he's being typecast, but I mean, he was perfect for the role if that was the character, and if he just brought his own thing to it, then that worked too, because he was a villain. He was a good villain character in this. He was this kind of underling to the main bad guy. Tessa Thompson was in it as well from Dear White People. She was great in this. So it was I would call it average. There were a lot of things that didn't work for me, and a few things that I thought were quite good. I thought the cinematography was surprisingly good. There were a number of specific shots that I liked a lot. There was this kind of one random scene where they were having a conversation while going through a car wash, and the lights from like the car wash machine as they were going through were kind of illuminating the inside of the car, and I thought that it looked really cool. And there was this kind of overhead shot they did at one point where they were doing drugs with this informant on in a public bathroom on using the baby changing table to snort lines of coke, and it was this like really cool kind of overhead shot. And they did some other stuff too. There was this really cool like reverse tracking shot they did through this I think it was like a club maybe. So there was some really kind of cool visuals in it as well. So those things kind of evened out the shittier aspects of the movie for me. So it ended up being sort of a straight down the middle watch for me. I'd give it like a 5, Yeah. But it's good for some light like enjoyment. You'll probably get offended by some of the things that are said and done.
Yeah.
But it tries to get serious at times, and that doesn't really work either. But hey, whatever. It's called War on Everyone. Let's move on and talk about releases. Let's see what comes out next week. This week rather. We got Cars 3.
Thank you.
You excited for Cars 3?
No.
Have you seen a Cars movie?
I think I saw the first one. No, I totally had to. Because I remember my nephew, oh my God, he watched that thing like 87 times.
He's a Cars fanatic.
Oh my God.
He's a Cars kid.
He's all about
I have
that.
not seen a single Cars movie. I am proud of that.
I don't know if I've actually seen like the entire thing, but I've probably seen, because I've seen it probably like 17 separate times. So all that stuff, if you chunked it together, I probably saw the whole thing.
I think I saw part of maybe, I don't know if there's a show or maybe like a straight to video type of thing or a short or something. I don't know. Either way, Cars 3 not for me. All Eyes on Me comes out. This is the Tupac biopic. Stay tuned for Ryan Watches Movie this week when we will be talking about this one. What are you thinking on this? No go?
No thanks.
Yeah, it's a no go for me too.
You just it's not going to be good.
Yeah, you do. I mean, the trailer makes it look like it could be entertaining at least, but I'm thinking that it's going to be bad. That's my guess. The guy that plays Tupac looks and acts exactly like Tupac Shakur, so good on him for that. But you need more than just somebody doing an impression of the person.
And it seems like that's what we're doing now. Is if you can find someone that looks the part and stuff, like this doesn't mean you have to make a movie. Like you just don't have to. Even though you have someone to fill that role, It doesn't need to be done. Just please stop.
Yep, completely agree. Or at least try to do something different with it. This is a conversation we'll have on Thursday for Ryan Watches a Movie. We also have Rough Night coming out. This is the one with Scarlett Johansson, Zoe Kravitz, Kate McKinnon, Lana Glazer, Jillian Bell.
What's this
Did
called?
I say Kate McKinnon?
I think so.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
Rough Night.
Rough Night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, is it Girls Night Out? Is that what that is?
It's exactly what it is. It's yet another bridesmaids hangover type movie. This is about a bunch of girls get back together for a bachelorette party, and they inadvertently kill somebody. They inadvertently kill a stripper.
Oh no.
And they got to deal with it. You got to deal with that. The only thing that has me interested in this, and I probably won't see it in the theater, but it's got a good cast, and the writer director is one of the creators of Broad City.
Oh, okay.
So I'm into that because I'm a huge fan of Broad City. So I'm kind of hoping that it's going to be that style of comedy.
Yeah.
So, I might be on board with this one. I like the fact that Kate McKinnon plays an Australian woman.
Oh, jeez.
It's going to be funny.
You think?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I'll wait to see. I'll wait to see what you think.
I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to see it, but whatever. 47 Meters Down comes out. This is
what the fuck is this shit?
It's the shark movie. It's a shark movie.
And this is like getting wide release?
Yeah, I think so.
How? Why is it that I walk into my movie theater and there's a giant, poster type cardboard thingy for this movie? Why?
The poster is terrible. The standee, I don't know if it was the same one in your theater that was in mine, where it's like the shark coming up and you can stand behind it, get your picture taken.
Oh, I don't think mine isn't interactive like that.
Oh yeah, well, at my theater there was it's like a giant shark head that's coming up from the floor, and you can stand behind it and get your picture taken.
No, mine's not like that. Mine's just the poster, but really, really big and made of cardboard.
What a terrible poster too. I don't know if it's the same one that's on Rotten Tomatoes. That just looks like a straight to VOD.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but the first thing that I read, I'm like, Claire Holt. I have no idea who that is. And then the second name's Mandy Moore, and you're just thinking, this seems like a completely straight to DVD.
Yeah.
Like, why is this the first thing that I see in my movie theater when I walk in?
Yep.
How is this coming?
I don't know. I really don't know how they were able to get a wide release on this, but they did. I mean, horror movies sell tickets, so man, it's PG-13, so it's probably going to be fairly tame. I think they're going for that The Shallows vibe. I can't imagine that it's going to be better than The Shallows, which I actually enjoyed The Shallows.
How are you going to be making a shark attack movie and you got 3 sharks on the poster, and then you're going to tell me that it's not rated R?
I know, right? Well, I think the premise is that Mandy Moore and Claire Holt play these 2 girls who are on vacation, and they agree to do one of the shark cage dives, and the line breaks that is like holding the cage up, and they end up sinking down to the bottom of the on the ocean floor. So they're trapped in a shark cage. They have very limited air. Their air's running out, Kevin, and there's sharks everywhere. So what are they going to do?
What are you going to do?
What are they going to do?
I mean, what are you going to do?
I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd knock my friend out. I would push her out through the cage, and while the sharks are busy feeding off of her lifeless body, I'm swimming to the top.
Holy shit.
No.
If we ever go to damn, I am not getting in a cage with you.
I don't know what's going to happen. I'll probably check this one out when it comes out on VOD or...
I can tell you right now, they're not going to die.
I don't think so.
That's the shitty thing. Like, they're not going to die.
I don't think so, no. I mean,
that's what I want. I want to go into one of these movies where I'm going to be like, they're not going to die, and then boom, they die.
Both die horribly,
and it's just still footage, or like a still camera of just sharks swimming around for like 20 minutes with no sound, nothing,
digesting their
bones. extremely drawn out, slow cinema style. The movie's actually like 3 hours long, and an hour and 10 minutes of that is just a shark eating these two people.
I'd be down.
Wouldn't that? I mean, that would catch you off guard.
Yeah. Also coming out June 16th, we have Once Upon a Time in Venice, The Book of Henry, Pray for Rain, and The Journey.
Okay. No Aaron's Blood?
No, Aaron's Blood's out. It's out now. You can get it. I think it's out on VOD and Blu-ray.
Which, that just reminds me. I've got to look that up, see what kind of rating that's got going on. Aaron's Blood.
Aaron's Blood. Wouldn't be a week without talking about Aaron's Blood.
This is a sleeper hit of 2017.
Hell yeah, it is. That's going to be ended up on a lot of top 10s, especially on our site.
Letterboxd, it doesn't even have the director's name on it.
Oh, no.
Damn. That's not good.
Oh, God.
Not looking good for Aaron's Blood. I've seen a lot of 2 stars and 1.5 stars.
That hurts.
Yeah.
Next week on VOD, on June 13th, this is Tuesday, we have Camera Obscura, which I'm guessing is a horror movie about a camera of some kind. Haunted camera, I'm guessing. Missing 411. And then on the 16th, we have Once Upon a Time in Venice. I think is that with Bruce Willis?
This is Bruce Willis with a dog. Got a dog on the front of that.
What a terrible car. God, I'm so sick of these bad posters. Jesus.
Maybe I'll watch it for that dog.
Yeah, John Goodman, Thomas Middleditch, Jason Momoa, Famke Jensen.
Who's the dog, though? Why isn't the dog listed here? Never mess with a man's dog. Oh, my God. How many of these fucking movies now? God damn you, John Wick.
His beloved pet is stolen by thugs.
Oh,
Come on.
I wonder what he does. I hope that the movie's just him, contacting the police and then just going about his day while the police take care of it. It's just like 4 days of him going to work and coming home, occasionally calling the police department and them not having any answers.
That's the directorial debut of Mark Cullen, who was the screenwriter of Cop Out. So there you go. You know what to expect with that one.
Shit. It's going to be shit.
Yeah. Blu-ray next week. We got 3 Generations. That's the Weinstein one with Naomi Watts and Susan Sarandon and is it Elle Fanning in that one? I think so.
Yeah.
We have Mine. That's the war movie with Armie Hammer.
Oh, okay.
We have the Ultimate Leica Collection. This is a Blu-ray set that comes with Coraline, Paranorman, Box Trolls, and Kubo.
Dope. I'm
into that. That's some good stuff right there. I haven't seen Kubo in the 2 strings.
I haven't either, but I just that's on Netflix Instant.
I'm gonna have to give that a watch.
So I just saw that the other day.
Definitely gonna have to give that a watch. Let's see what else we got here. Madhouse is coming out. This is from 1981. It's getting an Arrow release. John Wick 2, or Chapter 2 rather, is coming out. We'll have a Blu-ray review for that up probably by the time you're listening to this. Blu-ray's good so far.
All right.
Yeah, I'm working my way through the bonus content now. The Lego Batman movie. I would recommend checking that out. It's good fun.
Nice.
Good fun, great fun. Table 19.
How the fuck did this movie go wide too? I don't understand that. It's another one of those movies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I got this. I got this movie. I didn't get Trainspotting 2, but I got Table 19.
It's very, very odd. The new Planet of the Apes movies are getting 4K releases. So if you have 4K TV, you can check those out in player. It's pretty much all I got. What do you got as far as Criterions? We got anything on the Criterion front?
We got one Criterion coming out, and that's another Nicholas Ray edition coming to Criterion. His 1948 film, They Live by Night. So there you go, film noir.
So they come at night, but they also live by it.
A lot of stuff happens at night, it seems like. It's what I'm learning here. Nothing came at night, though. I haven't been able to find a movie that came at night.
What was that one? What was the Ben Affleck one that he came out with last year?
Oh man, yeah. What was that movie called?
Wasn't
Wasn't that Live by Night?
Yeah, wasn't that called Live by
Was it
Night?
just straight up fucking what a dick?
Yeah, it was called Live by Night.
What a fucking dick.
That's why I was like, wait a minute. It's not a
What?
remake, is it?
I don't think so. Better not be.
After an unjust prison sentence, a young innocent gets mixed up with hardened criminals and no, that doesn't sound right at all. Interesting. All right. There you have it. I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse. Consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name is Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.